When people start saying, God said I'm right and you're damned, things tend to explode. Literally. Even the Bundys aren't always violent. Sometimes they just yell on Facebook or homeschool their kids into oblivion. Hostility? Sure. Violence? Not always. But when you toss in nationalism, divine wars, and a good old persecution complex, boom! You've got yourself a dangerous stew of God-sanctioned mayhem. Contrary to popular belief, Christian terrorists don't just wake up and say, "Today feels explosive." They're strategic, calculated. They use religion like a business pitch, except instead of selling timeshares, they're selling holy war. It's less Jesus take the wheel and more Jesus said run them off the road. Dualistic worldview? Check. Apocalypse obsession? Check. Convinced everyone else is evil? Double check. See a pattern here? Extremists love that black and white thinking. It's like theological coloring books for adults who never emotionally matured past middle school. Meanwhile, in the atheist corner, we're just out here existing. Statistically, we're not the ones bombing clinics or trying to baptize legislation. In fact, secular societies tend to be less violent, fewer stonings, more brunch. Atheists are underrepresented in prison. Secular nations enjoy lower crime, infant mortality, and corruption. Meanwhile, countries where religious law runs the show? Yeah, not exactly utopias. But sure, tell me again how atheists are the problem. Let's be clear. Belief alone doesn't cause violence. It's when belief hardens into unshakable, unquestionable truth that things get dicey. Whether it's Jesus a la Vishnu or the flying spaghetti monster, when you think your God wants you to destroy the other side, you've officially exited spiritual and entered cultish menace. So, are Christians inherently more dangerous than atheists? Nope. But neither are atheists inherently dangerous either. No matter what your grandma's Facebook post said, the danger isn't faith or lack of it. It's extremism, tribalism, the idea that my side is holy and yours is hell-bound. That mindset, that's the real threat. This is Kim McPhail of the Kim McPhail Podcast. And previously on Who's More Dangerous, Christians or Atheists, we learned that religious extremism is kind of like a bad haircut. Anyone can get one, but some people really commit. And now for the grand finale, we dive into a favorite hobby of Cold War Christians everywhere, comparing atheism to communism. Spoiler, it's less a good faith argument and more a tragic comedy wrapped in red, white, and Bible thumping. The 1950s, a golden age of malt shops, McCarthyism, and mass hysteria over Elvis's hips. This was the era when American Christianity fused patriotism with piety like some unholy theological transformer. The Soviets were scary, but not just because of nukes. No, they were godless. And that, my friends, made them morally bankrupt in the eyes of suburban pastors and congressional witch hunters alike. Suddenly, if you didn't believe in the God of the King James Bible, you weren't just wrong, you were dangerous. Atheism became the ultimate sin against America. Not believing in God? That meant you probably hated apple pie, freedom, and definitely puppies. It was a PR genius, one-size-fits-all moral panic. Christian leaders like Bishop Fulton J. Sheen were all too happy to preach that anti-communism equals Christian duty, which meant kids in Sunday school were basically taught that atheists were Soviet sleeper agents in disguise. And people wonder why the U.S. can't separate church from anything. American Christianity didn't just become religious, it became a political brand. You weren't just a believer, you were a defender of liberty, virtue, and the suburban nuclear family. Meanwhile, atheists? Basically Marxist demons with a bad fashion sense and an allergy to joy. Sure, Marx wasn't exactly Team Jesus, but religion is the opiate of the masses wasn't a declaration of war, it was analysis. Nuance? Context? Not welcome in a Cold War sermon. To American Christians, this meant atheists wanted to send everyone to re-education camps and force mandatory beard sharing. The Cold War ended, the Soviet Union collapsed, but the propaganda? Oh, that stuff has staying power, like glitter or televangelists. Today, evangelicals still recycle the same lazy talking point. Atheists are like communists. Because who needs facts when you've got a nostalgia-fueled fear? And here's where the irony gets so thick, you could baptize someone in it. While screaming that atheism equals immorality, many Christian institutions were out there supporting segregation, fighting civil rights, opposing women's equality. But hey, they were God's bigots, so it's fine, right? Let's talk family values. Christian conservatives framed their crusade as moral defense. But under the hood, a desire to control women, erase LGBTQ plus identities, and enforce theological purity in public life. Sound familiar? Yeah, it's giving Jesus-flavored authoritarianism. They tried, and still try, to insert prayer in schools, creationism in science class, and Jesus into the Constitution. This isn't religious freedom, it's a theocratic fantasy cosplay. If anything, it mimics the control structures they claim to hate in communist regimes. Just swap out state for church, and voila! Christian America, atheists destroy families. Also, Christian America systematically punishes non-traditional families, blocks protections for workers, and rewrites sex ed to include shame and sin charts. I mean, projection much? The atheism equals communism myth? It's not about actual facts. It's a distraction, a convenient scapegoat. Because admitting that your own house has some very broken windows, that's hard. But blaming the godless next door? Easy. So next time someone tells you atheism leads to communism, tyranny, and probably cavities, remind them that moral decay isn't exclusive to the godless. It's a human problem, one that theology often makes way worse when left unchecked. And maybe, just maybe, the people shouting tyranny should take a long, uncomfortable look at their own church's track record, because truth bomb incoming. Believing in God doesn't make you moral. Being moral makes you moral. And no, you don't need a sky wizard to know right from wrong. If you liked this deep dive into the twisted logic of religious rhetoric, smash that like button, share with your deconstructing cousin, and hit subscribe for more hilarious, honest takedowns of Christian nonsense. Because we're not here to be quiet. We're here to make reason loud again. Stay skeptical, stay informed, and remember, morality doesn't require a pulpit. This is Kim McPhail of the Kim McPhail Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I look forward to the next time we talk. And have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching, and bye.